record on this computer. Okay, I have a tendency to forget to hit the record button.
That's always a small piece.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm going to jump out. I'm going to go back into this meeting that I have, and I'll connect with everybody later.
all right.
Thank you.
Well, folks, thanks for joining me this afternoon. And we've all done your one-on-one debrief, and you have your report. Kerry and I were chatting a little bit earlier. Have you noticed anything different about you? Have you started practicing anything different? Have you started observing other people and even your own emotions and how you react since we've done your debrief? Oh, by the way, this is not going to be a lecture. This is
interactive.
Very interactive. I don't lecture.
Well, you know our entire profile. Sorry. You know our entire profile, so that you know already I usually jump in too soon. So I'm trying to kind of hold off.
Oh, so you've started to practice. All right, Victoria.
I have started to practice, and I'm trying to listen better to people, and I'd be more patient and pause. So it's definitely been beneficial just to be more aware. And I have been trying to put it into practice in life and in business.
Great. I like that life, and this is not just limited to work, but to your entire life. All right, Chris.
I think in general, I do a lot. I kind of have a lot of this approach anyways. So I think it's just implementing. And I think for me, the biggest thing is I can kind of be a little bit of a bull in a china shop, and it's trying to keep myself reined in a little bit. So, I don't kind of, overpower some people. And but in general, as I said, I mean, I've been working on myself for a long time. So this kind of fits right in line with what I've been doing on trying to improve myself as a person.
Great. Andrew.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, well, you can't see you.
Yeah, I turned it off. I've got kids and wife and all kinds of stuff in and out of my office, so I apologize. I'll turn it back on.
No, that's all right. We love family.
When they clear out. But yeah, for me, I mean, I enjoyed our time together. I actually read through the reports a few different times and even shared it with my wife, and we kind of went back and forth in regards to where I sit specifically within the empathy portion. And so as I'm making different decisions, I'm trying to pay attention to the way that I'm responding to people in business and personal interactions. So it was very, very welcome.
Great.
Meeting.
Great. Carrie?
Yeah, it was really helpful that you and I got the same exact score. So being able to go over the debrief was really helpful. So yeah, I definitely been, like I mentioned before everybody jumped on, I've talked to my parents about it and wanted to get their opinions and see what they thought. And it was interesting. They kind of, because they don't really see the behind the scenes of what I do, or nor they really don't know a lot. They are kind of old school. They don't really think that I can work from a computer. So it was, trying to tell them hey, this is what I do in business also. And this is how it was recognized in this test that I took. So it definitely helped in business.
Hey, Myra.
I don't think she's on yet.
She just asked to be admitted.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Hello.
Hey, Myra, you're just on time.
I will warn you, Kelly might call me back, so I'm sorry, but.
Oh, well, okay, we understand. We were just talking about how has this tool that you've been exposed to have helped you since our last conversation, our debrief. Have you noticed anything different? Have you seen any personal changes in how you behave?
A little bit. I feel like I've been able to have more open conversations. So yeah, I can see.
All right, so we've done the one-on-one debriefs. You're exposed to the tool. Today we want to, since you guys, you've heard the term work family. you're a team. And your team, you're working together for a common purpose. So today we want to share some of your strengths and some of your lower scores, and how does that impact how you perform and how you work together. Let me go share my screen. And here we go. And okay. This Zoom thing is, oh, where is slideshow? Okay. So this is the Cajas. Hey, somebody promised me a cap. I'm still waiting to get it. Oh, I know who it was. It's Maya. She had a lovely Cajas cap on her head. Nice cap. So teamwork with social emotional intelligence. You know, remember we shared that 80% of how we behave, how we perform is impacted by how we feel. In other words, our emotions. So introduction, and in terms of introductions, you know, isn't it amazing how we've been with people a long time and we think we know them. And then sometimes they might do something and surprise you. I can't believe he or she is behaving that way. So in terms of introductions, we're going to do a little exercise. First, I'm going to ask you to tell us 4 things about yourself. 3 must be the truth. 1 must be a lie, and the rest of us will guess the lie. Now, this is a game, okay? Don't go tell people how I taught you how to lie. This is just a game. So just to give you a template, I will go first. And here are my 4 items. 1 is, I hit a hole-in-one in 2015 on the golf course. I walk 5 miles every day. I have published 2 books. And I got to speak at UPS last year, February. So those are my 4 things. Which one is the lie? Which one? And the person who gets the lie is the person who goes next, okay?
Hole-in-one.
No, good. I really got a hole-in-one. That was amazing. I didn't even see the ball go in the hole, but it was amazing. Yeah.
Walking 5 miles.
That's it. I don't know how people do that kind of stuff. I prefer to go and walk 18 holes than to. All right, Chris, you got it. You're up.
All right. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters. I practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu regularly. I do woodworking and build things using woodworking. And let's see, that's 3. 1 more would be, let's see. I have been in 6 startups since I've started my career.
Jiu-jitsu. Oh no, woodworking.
I do woodworking. I build tables and desks and do stuff with concrete and metal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
I'm gonna go brothers and sisters. The 2 brothers and 1 sister.
You're correct. I'm an only child. That would explain a lot.
You act like an only child.
I totally do.
Was that Andrew?
All about me. Me.
Let me turn my screen back on. Sorry.
All right. Was that Andrew?
Sorry, I look rough today. You guys are up on a different screen too, so if I'm looking up and not at the camera, sorry. I'll try to look at the camera.
Okay.
So let's see. I play music on the weekends. Built websites for 10 years. I'm still one from Chris. I also do some woodworking, and let me see what else about myself. I read. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I read about 12 to 13 books a year. I really enjoy reading.
Tough one. Which is the lie, people?
Music.
Nope, I play music.
No, he played music.
Yeah, I
every
was like,
weekend.
you have a beard, you look like a
Come on now. The beard gave it away. That's not fair.
The beard, the facial hair.
Yeah,
The
that's laziness is what that is.
10 years. You've definitely built websites, but 10 years seems
Correct. I've built websites for about 14 years.
nice.
Oh, wow. All right, Carrie, you're up.
That was kind of a humble brag.
It was really more of like a.
Total
I wasn't
humble brag.
expecting. I wasn't expecting to get yours right, so I was like, "Crap, I gotta fake it real quick or something."
Yeah.
How do I lie? I don't lie.
Yeah. All right, Carrie.
Wait, that was Myra.
Oh, Mara, sorry.
Oh no. I was like, I don't know, I don't let Carrie do it because I don't.
No.
Let's see. Okay, so 3 truths and a lie. I was originally going to university for theater. I won an essay on writing in like first grade on the Coca-Cola Penguins. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And geez, I feel like everyone gets like caught up on like the 4th one. I feel like I'm so used to like 2 truths and a lie. And I paint on my spare time.
Wow. Okay. So what's the lie, people?
I think the painting, based on your struggle,
Based on my struggle.
facial expressions, you kind of looked a little confused when you said that one.
That one is actually true. The struggle was because I was like, I can't think of it, but luckily I'm in like the office that also has like paintings around, and I was like, all right, that's one.
Yeah, I remember that. We talked about that. So
I'm gonna
what's-
go with the family, the number of brothers and sisters.
Yes. That was an easy one to lie about just because it's like you can just throw in another random number. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters, so I'm not an only sibling, but
yeah.
I just added an extra brother.
All right, Christian, you've gone before. You get to select who goes next.
Oh, let's see, who's gonna hate me more, Carrie or Victoria? I think I'm gonna go with Victoria because, yeah, just cause.
Okay, just cause. Okay, I should have been planning this while y'all were doing yours. I ride horses and do races occasionally, probably every couple of months. I guess everybody's doing family. I'm an only child.
That's a gimme, Victoria.
I do woodwork as well,
Wow.
which is awesome to hear you guys do it too. And let's see, one more. I have 4 dogs. I think I've told you all that. I shouldn't have used that one.
Dogs.
Well, I can't believe you're an only child because Joseph said you were his sister.
I know. I know.
So was he lying or?
He was fibbing, yeah. He was fibbing.
Oh, you were saying your spiritual sister. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Carrie, did you try to guess? What'd you say?
I said your dogs.
No, I actually have 4 dogs.
I thought you had 2. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So we're down to 2 people. You did it on horses? You ride on horses?
I
And
do
race?
not ride horses.
And race. Oh,
I have ridden horses, but I do not race
you
regularly.
don't race. So that's all right. Carry you up.
Okay, number one, I'm really good at home design and decor. Number two, I am a published illustrator. Number three, my first genre of music I remember ever listening to was rap and hip hop. And number four, I skateboarded 6 miles in sandals.
Going number 3. Number 4 was way too specific.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Number three.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with 4.
No,
I don't-
four is true. I skateboarded 6 miles in sandals once.
Wow.
That's impressive.
It
Those
is.
sandals helped too. Steve Madden, I'm always going to remember them.
6. So we're down to 2 people. Home decor. Is it home decor?
Yeah. Home decor and design and published illustrator.
So is it home decor that's the lie?
Yeah, home decor is a lie.
All right. Well,
I'm really bad at it, and I cannot do woodworking. I actually drilled a hole in the wall for the first time like last month.
it looked like you're
Did
going to
you
call it.
hit a pipe? You didn't hit a pipe. You did great.
I know. It hit the like stud too. So
Yeah.
actually the third time it hit the stud, I can't lie. First, I have 2 on the wall, but that's fine.
All right. So we got everybody? Did we get everybody? Oh, good. All right. So next. What are your expectations? We've already spent quite a few hours together. Well, minutes. We're going to spend up to 2 hours together. What are you hoping to get out of this time?
I think just kind of overall communication improvement and just collaboration between us being on the same team, for me, I think is a big, I'm looking forward to that because, you know, being able to collaborate, we talk every day, all the people in this group, and to be able to understand them better is really going to help things, and them to be able to understand me better is going to help. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you. And that was,
Learning new things, everybody.
what's that?
Learning new things about everyone.
Learning new things. Okay.
For me, it's you know, I'm the newest one on the team here, so it's getting to know everybody. You know, I'm remote, so I've never met anyone really in person either. So it's kind of, you know, hopefully developing a little more of a relationship so we can all get along and, you know, have fun and work hard and, you know, do good stuff together.
All right. Next.
Yes, I'll jump in. I think I may be last, actually. I was more or less going to kind of echo Chris or use that one. He stole it. We'll just say that. But
Gotta be
That's all
fast.
right.
yeah.
Gotta be fast.
Sorry, I'm in Photoshop at the same time. My brain's kind of slow, but so it's basically that. I mean, being remote's a bit different. So like establishing the relationships with the team that you're working with is slightly different than if you were in person. So like learning to read tone over text messages, learning to read tone over chats and phone and things like that are, you know, pretty paramount, I feel like, in this type of remote situation. So these types of environments or these types of meetings are nice to be able to kind of get to know everybody and see everything.
Yeah, and it's kind of important. If we're going to work together, we should get to know one another and know what each other's little idiosyncrasies are. So how we can best understand, cooperate, and be tolerant. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So what can you do to ensure, I'll go back, hold on. What can you do to ensure that your expectations are met while we are in this Zoom chat? What are some of the things that you can do? What do great learners do? This is a time of learning. What do you do?
Listen.
Listen. Yeah, and I do a little mini effective listening seminar. It's just like about 10, 15 seconds. Look at how the Lord designed us. 2 ears, 1 mouth, which is a subtle indication that if we could learn to listen twice as much as we speak, we will have more peace in this world. We'll have more productivity. We'll have more understanding, more collaboration. Listen. And listening is an active skill, not passive. Hearing is passive, listening is active. Thank you for that, listening. What else can we do? Just listen?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, I think you've got to express what you want. You know, I mean, no one's mind reader, especially when we're working remotely and, you know, and there's, you know, all the lack of communication that you have with chat and phone that you don't have with in person. So it's, you know, for me, it's expressing what I want so that the other person understands what, you know, what I'm asking for.
Yeah. Anything else? What do great learners do when they're in a learning environment? They listen, they share, they ask questions. What else?
Mm.
Do you take
Try
notes?
things.
Yeah, I was going to say take notes, practice.
Yeah.
Try things, do experiments.
Yeah, be open-minded, you know, try things, you know, take notes. You know, the psychologist of learning will tell you there's a direct link between your brain and your hand. We tend to remember more what we write down than what we even type or text. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, like I carry these with me all the time. These little Post-it, and no matter where I'm going, I always have a pen with me because I don't know when the next great idea is going to come to me. I write it down. So take notes, listen, share your ideas. All right. So my expectations, you know, and I always expect the ball to drop in the hole. It doesn't drop in the hole all the time. Less than often. So I need your help. People tell me I'm great at what I do, but I need your help to be great. First is your mind is like a parachute. It's not much good unless it's open. Think about that for a second. Your mind is like a parachute. It's not much good unless it's open. Then learning is an active process. Have you heard of the Kaizen mentality? K-A-I-Z-E-N? That's Toyota's mantra. It means, in Japanese, it means in English, continuous improvement. Any living organism that stops growing begins to die. Any living organism that stops growing begins to die. Too many people take personal growth and development for granted, but we got to be intentional. And, you know, and I applaud Joseph for making this happen, for calling me and asking me to do this for him and his team. Galileo is one of my favorite philosophers, and he's the guy who said you cannot teach a woman, he said you can't teach a man anything. I kind of edited to woman because I'm biased to women. My mom was a woman, and he's dead and gone, so he can't sue me. You can only help them to find it within themselves. If you don't want it, nobody can give it, force it down your throat. You gotta want it. And we all, you know, like great coaches, they don't pour things into people. They draw things out of them. They don't pour into people, they draw what's already in there. Self-discovery. Share your ideas. Come on, computer. Share your ideas. An idea in your head is just occupying space. You never know when that idea might be the idea. So as a team, feel free to share your ideas. And today, feel free to share your ideas. Some of you got pets. You know, I know Carrie has a dog. And I know Victoria just said she has four dogs. Anybody else got pets? Anybody else?
I have a hamster, but I don't know if that actually counts as a pet.
Well,
I mean, it looks like it based on the slide.
well, I'm going to ask you to adopt a pet rat. And don't get too squeamish about it. It's just, I want you to remember the word rat. Great learners retain. How do we retain information? What are some of the things we do to retain information? Any ideas?
Note taking, repetition.
Repetition. I mean, think about the alphabet. We all learned the alphabet when we were in pre-K, kindergarten, and have we forgotten it? How did we learn it? We had to repeat it so many times, they even made us sing it. Repetition is one of the most effective form of learning. You have this tool in your possession, in your computer. The more often you look at it, you review it until it becomes a part of you. Repetition, repeat it. Andrew will tell you he learned music by, he doesn't have to look at the music sheet anymore because he's played it so often, it's second nature. Then the A is apply. Application. If you know it, but you don't apply it, it's a waste, really. Have you heard the statement, knowledge is power? That is one of the biggest BS statement I've ever heard. Knowledge only becomes powerful when it's applied in a positive, constructive way. So apply what you learn, and the T is transfer. Share what you learn. Transfer, share. So now, is it okay for you to adopt the rat? Retain, apply, transfer. I gave myself a new title the other day. I'm calling myself a rat trainer. Retain, apply, transfer. One of my students was kind of squeamish about it. She didn't like it, but when she saw the acronym, she said, okay, I can accept it now. Yeah. So that's, yeah. I want you to look at this video.
Is there supposed to be sound on this? Because I don't hear anything.
You're not hearing any sound? Oh.
No.
No.
Go ahead. Are you hearing now? Give me a thumbs up if you hear it. Okay.
So easily, perhaps because, and this is brand new science, this is just out of the lab, we may have some special circuitry in our brains that helps us whenever we look at each other. Ask yourself, why do people get so involved, so deeply involved with such anguish, such pain, such nail-biting tension over football? Cleveland Browns are gambling on defense. Why are we such suckers for sports? And it's not just sports. We can lose it completely at the movies, at video games, watching a dance. Is there something about humans particularly, that allows us to connect so deeply when we watch other people? Watch them moving, watch them playing, watch their faces. Well, as it happens, scientists have an explanation for this strange ability to connect. It's new. It had never been found on a cellular level before. A set of brain cells found on either side of the head. Among all the billions of long branching cells in our brain, these so-called mirror neurons have surprising power.
What we found is the mechanism that underlies something which is absolutely fundamental to the way that we see other people in the world.
And it began entirely by accident at a laboratory in the lovely old city of Parma, Italy, where a group of brain researchers was working with monkeys. And they were testing a neuron, that's a brain cell, that always made this sound whenever the monkey would grab for a peanut. So the lab had all these peanuts around, and whenever the monkey made its move, the neuron would fire. Scientists thought, now here's a neuron that is essential to motion. It's a motor neuron. Then one day, the monkey was just sitting around, not moving at all, just sitting, when a human scientist came into the lab. And when that scientist grasped the peanut, the monkey's cell fired. Now, the monkey hadn't moved. It was the human that had moved, suggesting that this neuron up here couldn't tell the difference between seeing something and doing something. Seeing and doing were the same. Or more intriguingly, that for this neuron, watching somebody do something is just like doing it yourself. The head of the lab, Giacomo Rizzolatti, wow.
The same neurons, one neuron, fire both when the monkey observes something and one monkey is doing something. It's almost unbelievable.
It was surprising because this cell, which was involved with motor planning for the monkey, turned out to be interested in the movements of other people as well.
Some people call them monkey see, monkey do neurons, but the name that stuck is mirror neurons because with them, the brain seems to mirror the movements it sees. This accidental discovery got scientists thinking, doing more tests, and it soon became pretty clear that this is not just a monkey thing, it's a people thing too. We all know that humans learn by looking and copying. That's what infants do. First you look, then you do. And once you've watched and copied and learned a set of moves, you not only have them in your head,
You put your shoe on.
if you see somebody else doing it, you can share the experience. They know the moves, you know the moves, so you can move with them.
If you can use the years of training that you yourself have done, learning to crawl, then learning to walk, then learning to eat, this is an incredibly rich set of knowledge that you could apply to the problem of actually seeing what's going on.
So that's why when I head down this street carrying all of these packages, not only do people watch, look how they're watching. They feel my predicament because they know what it's like to carry heavy packages. They all know about carrying. So as they watch me moving, they can feel themselves moving. Their neurons are mirroring the action. These neurons may be the brain's way of translating what we see so we can relate to the world.
The mirror system is the way that you tap into, the way that you harness your own abilities and project them out into the world.
And people are really good at watching and translating what we see. Like with just 13 moving dots, that's all there are here, you'll have no trouble recognizing these very ordinary activities. What's more, tests have shown when a person sees a movie like this of his own movement, he'll recognize it immediately as his own. And that's why sports fans tense with the action and wince and leap. Because if you know the game, then your neurons are firing as if it's you playing, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase armchair quarterback. That's why it's so easy to be a sports fan. But there is more, suggests UCLA professor Marco Iacoboni. He thinks mirror neurons tie us not just to other people's actions, but to other people's feelings.
So the idea was to try to figure out how the emotional system and this motor system are connected together. We're going to go in the scanner, and what you're going to do is
to demonstrate, he put me into this very powerful fMRI brain scanner that can peer into the brain while it's working. And he gave me some goggles so he could show me pictures when I was in there.
So you can see here the eyeball of Robert.
And once he had a good view into my brain.
Nice looking brain.
Thank you.
Robert, you're not supposed to talk when we scan you, all right?
Sorry. Then he said, okay, I'm going to show you a bunch of faces. And for each face, I want you to imitate it. So I did that. Then he recorded my brain while I moved my facial muscles.
We're going to do right away another one.
Okay. Then he said, okay, same faces, but this time, don't move a muscle. Just look. So I looked. When we checked the results, oh, there's my brain. I've never seen my brain before.
This is your computer.
Iacoboni says that the part of my brain that's working when I make a face, the same part gets busy when I see the face. Plus, when I was looking at these faces, I remember feeling extra uncomfortable, kind of bad. But when these faces came on, I felt better, almost happy. And in fact, at the moment I was looking at the happy face, my brain, and this is my brain, in that instant, see the red area here? It shows activity in the happy, emotional part of my brain. And when I was imitating happy faces, look, I get even a bigger response. This, says Jacoboni, is a consistent result. Mirror neurons, he believes, can send messages to the limbic or emotional system in our brains. So it's possible these neurons help us tune in to each other's feelings. That's empathy.
We strongly believe that that's a unifying mechanism that allows people to actually connect at a very simple level.
You're saying that there's a place in my brain whose job it is to live in other people's minds, live in other people's bodies.
That's right.
Oh, darling, I'm going to die. Don't let me die.
And great actors instinctively know that if they put feeling and drama into their bodies,
Hold me tight. Don't let me go.
their faces,
Dark out there alone.
we will respond.
Die. You're too brave to die.
What actors are expert in is using their movements to inspire feelings in the people watching. These are the experts in the mirror system.
We are intensely social creatures. We literally read other people's minds. I don't mean anything psychic like telepathy, but you can adopt another person's point of view.
When you put it together, what do you think it's going to be?
So if mirror neurons help us connect emotionally, what about people who have trouble with this? Kids like Christian, who has autism.
Why do you like Legos?
It's been known for some time that children with autism could be quite intelligent, but have a profound deficit in social interaction.
There he is.
Christian can speak and read and write, but like many kids with autism, he will avoid eye contact. He often misunderstands questions.
So, Christian, can you tell me what you did in school today?
Doing well.
You're doing well?
Everybody wants to know what exactly causes this. So Dr. Ramachandran and his graduate student, Lindsay Schenk, designed an experiment.
So we're going to be reading your brainwaves with this cap.
They recorded brainwaves while the kids opened and closed their hands, and while they looked at a movie of somebody else's hands. For most people, the brainwaves look the same either way, whether they're doing or seeing. But for kids with autism, the wave changes, suggesting possibly that autism may have something to do with broken mirror neurons.
Their brains may indeed be different in that regard, and they may have deficits in the mirror neuron system. But we don't know this for sure yet, and additional work needs to be done using brain imaging.
But what we do know, says Ramachandran, is that healthy human beings are intensely social. More than our cousins the monkeys, we invent ways to connect. We invent dances and handshakes and games to play. We eat together, we meet, and we talk. We talk a lot.
Get away. Everybody's interested in this question. What makes humans unique? What makes us different from the great apes, for example? You can say humor, or the laughing biped. Language, certainly. Okay? But another thing is culture. And a lot of culture comes from imitation. Watching your teachers do something.
And here, V.S. Ramachandran makes a big leap. He has proposed that at a key moment in our evolution, this is his guess, our mirror neurons got better. And that made all the difference, he says, because once we humans got better at learning from each other, looking, copying, teaching, we could do things the other creatures couldn't.
In other words, if you are a bear and suddenly the environment turns cold, you need a few million years to develop polar bear type layers of fat and fur.
It would take many, many, many bear generations to select for furrier bears. But, says Ramachandran,
if you're a human, you watch your father slaying another bear and putting on a fur coat, skinning it, using that as a coat. You watch it, you learn it instantly. Your mirror neurons start firing away in your brain. And you perform the same sequence, complicated sequence. Instead of going through millions of years of evolution, you've done it in one generation.
And while no one's claiming that mirror neurons are the key ingredient that makes us different from other creatures, what these neurons do suggest about us seems almost self-evident. You can see it any Sunday at a sports bar. That deep in our architecture, down in our cells, we are built to be together.
there would be very little point in having a mirror system if you lived on your own. There'd be a lot of point in having a digestive system if you lived on your own. There'd be a good point in having a movement system if you lived on your own. There'd be a good point in having a visual system if you lived on your own. But there'd be no point in having a mirror system. The mirror system is the most basic social brain system. It's a brain system which there's no point in having if you don't want to interact or relate to other people.
But we do like to interact, and maybe now, as never before, we will understand why.
So, what did you get out of that video?
Perception.
Perception. What else?
We evolved to need the presence of other people.
Yeah. You know, and whether we intend to or not, we impact in other people around us. Whether we intend to or not, we are impacting the people around us. Think about your own self, how much you've learned from just looking at your parents or a teacher or a leader you've worked with. You know, I learned to cook by just looking at my mom. She couldn't believe it when I cooked my first meal. Because, you know, in the Indian culture, men don't cook. But I learned, unfortunately I learned, but by just looking. And that's why we got to be so aware that people are looking at us. You know, life is like a stage. It's a stage, and people are looking at us. And, you know, our clients are looking at us, our neighbors are looking at us, our prospective clients are looking at us. And, you know, that's why even our social presence, people are looking at that, our websites, people are looking at that, and they're making an impression. And that will decide whether they do business with us or not. Now we're looking at one another. And we can, you know, on Zoom, we can see everybody's facial expression. We can see your eyes, except Victoria, she's hiding from us.
She's brutal like that.
Yeah.
So
she had a bad hair day today, and we've learned.
Yeah, I woke up to internet issues this morning and immediately have been going since then. So I apologize.
That's all right. The thing about it is
I'm doing y'all a favor, actually.
Yeah, being aware that people are looking at me and I'm just taking it for granted, and being intentional about putting out my best all the time. Any questions before we move on? Any questions? Okay. So I put together a little spreadsheet here for you, and I can send this to all of you if you would like it, to show what your common strengths are in each segment. Remember, we have 4 segments: self-awareness, self-management, others or social awareness, and relationship management. So for personal power, and you all have the definition of personal power. I wouldn't, you know, spend time going back into all of that. You know it, kind of deal. Being able to speak your mind, kind of deal. We have Mara, Victoria, and Joseph. They have, you know, and remember, all of you have a certain level of all of these, but these just happen to be the highest score on your team. These are the people who want to speak up. And then accurate self-awareness, Chris. And emotional self-awareness, Carrie, Andrew, and Maya. Maya is not with us, but she will be looking at this. Self-management, achievement drive. We have Mara and Andrew. Personal agility, this has to do, if you remember, dealing with change, Chris. You know, and having, I guess, developing 6 startups, you've got to know how to deal with change. Resilience, Carrie, she's been resilient with Joseph for 3 whole years. She didn't give up, you know? And integrity, Victoria and Maya, and please remember that you all have high scores, but these were just the highest scores that I'm noting here, okay? And innovation and creativity, Joseph had a 15. And now you know why he is the one who got together and put this idea, this whole concept together, innovation and creativity. And others awareness, empathy. And look at it, you guys, 4 out of 7 of you, high in empathy. High in empathy. Organizational awareness, Carrie. And service orientation, Carrie and Joseph. I guess that's why you guys work well together. Building bonds, Myra. That's important to Myra, that we build bonds. Powerful influencing skills, Chris, Joseph, Vic, and these are the people who are going to sell their ideas to you and to your customers. Communication, Carrie and Andrew. And teamwork and collaboration, Maya. Again, please remember, you will go back to your report, you will see you all have high scores. Nobody got a 0 in any one of this. Nobody got a cautionary or vulnerable. You all have high scores. Any questions? Okay.
Seems about in line.
In line, yeah, okay.
With everybody's role.
Everybody's role, perfect. That's good. So some key team building components. Remember, there are 26 components in this tool. So I'm going to show you some key team building components and what's your team average scores. What I did was I took the total of all of your scores and divided by the number of teammates. So integrity, 13.6 out of 15. So this is a team that is full of integrity. Give yourself a round of applause. That is so important in a team, to be full of integrity. You know, empathy, 13.2. Organizational awareness, 13.4. Communication, 12.4. Interpersonal effectiveness, this is so important to you. Interpersonal effectiveness, 13.9. Conflict management, you're great at conflict management. Building bonds, 13.1. Teamwork and collaboration, 12.4. Coaching and mentoring others, 13. So you guys like coaching and mentoring one another. Feel free to call on one another. Building trust. And remember, we talk about that trust is in any relationship. If you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship. Trust is key. So what do you think?
Makes sense. I mean, just seeing how everybody works here, this makes a lot of sense for the team.
You know, and it's validation. And when we see things in black and white, it becomes real and it becomes more effective and more impactful. So I've labeled you a strong team. You are a strong team. Keep it up. But to remain strong, you got to keep working at it. You got to keep working at it. Don't take it for granted. I've seen so many strong teams lose because they became complacent. And weaker teams beat them. So keep going and remember the Kaizen mentality, continuous improvement. I'm going to take a deep dive into teamwork and collaboration. And remember, the definition is working with others towards shared goals, creating synergy in the pursuit of collective goals. This coat of arms here is a coat of arms of my home country, Trinidad and Tobago, and it says, together we aspire, together we achieve. If one person on the team abandon the team, we become weaker. I've learned in all my growing up that if I don't agree with what the team is doing, I have to set my opinion aside and go with the team. That's teamwork. That's teamwork. When you can set aside your opinion, I've seen too many people hold on. The rest of the team wants to go one way and one person, and they cause conflict and they cause problems and they're not contributing. But if the majority of the team wants to go somewhere, that's where we're going to go. That's what teamwork is all about. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, people with this competence, teamwork and collaboration, first they enjoy working. I kind of edited performing. I like to tell people stop working, start performing. Work is hard, perform is great. Cooperatively with others. Enjoy it. Make it fun. Draw all members of a group into active and enthusiastic participation. Don't go through the motions. When you go through the motions, you cheat yourself of the joy and the pleasure of working together. Draw all members. You're going to find sometimes somebody just, you can read their emotions and you can see they're just not with it. That's the point. You need to draw them in and not just exclude them, but draw them in. Make a special effort to draw them in. Build team identity, esprit de corps, and commitment. Build it. It just doesn't happen. We need to build it, but, and be intentional about it. You know, protect the group and its reputation. Share credit. It's a we thing. It's not a me thing on team. It's a we thing. It's not a me thing. So protect the group and its reputation. Share the credit. Share plans, information, and resources. We found out that in great teams, there is transparency. Everything is out in the open. There are no secrets. So share. Put team goals before individual goals. And we were talking about that earlier. It's the team goal. We're all going to go for it. We all in. Interacts well with all different personalities and work styles on the team. No two people are identical. We all are different. And when we understand that and tolerate it and appreciate it, then we're going to be able to interact well with all different personalities and work styles on the team. We all have different work styles. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody would like to add anything to this? You all have worked on teams before. This is not your first hurrah, is it?
Well, I like the protect the group, its reputation, and share the credit. You know, it's so easy, like especially with dealers where they're looking for someone to blame for something to go wrong, and you say, "Oh, I had this, but you know that carry didn't get it done in time," right? And you know, and it's like I do like that we, you know, that hey, we all succeed together, and you know, we all fail together, you know, we all do that, and it's you know, and if someone does a good job, to share it and you know, give that person credit, you know, and not throw other people under the bus to solve a short-term piece, which I don't think anyone here has done. I haven't seen that at all. So, but I do like that aspect of it because I think it creates a better experience for the client, you know, more accountability, and they feel like, you know, we're where the buck stops.
Yep, and then one thing that's not here that I'd like to add for you, celebrate. Celebrate your victories. Celebrate one another victories. Anybody else have any comment they would like to add?
I think personally, I like the share plans, information, and resources. I was on another like Zoom event type thing recently with one of the groups that I'm a part of, and shoot, Kelly's calling. I'll have to give him a call right now. But she said something that really struck with me, that it's like information is power, but unless you share that information, then your whole team isn't powerful, right? So like, I think kind of going along with like how collaborative we are and stuff, like I feel like that's a very strong one in this. And you'll have to excuse me, I have to take that.
Yeah.
No problem.
I learned there are 3 words that I live by. The first one is clarify. Anybody want to take a guess at what the second one is? Anybody? The first is clarify. Anybody would like to take a guess at what the second word is? Okay, nobody want to guess. You guys don't like to guess. Okay. The second word is clarify, and the third is clarify. Too often, we don't clarify. We don't get the fact. We don't ask questions. We take it for granted that we understand instead of clarifying. Get clarity. Is this really what you want? Can you give me some more information so I know exactly what you want? Clarify. I see Chris smiling. Maybe you had some.
I think I've beat up poor Victoria and Andrew on this earlier this week on something. I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is, let me recap. Is that what you mean? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
What is digital retailing,
Clarify.
Chris?
Yeah, you know what happened
like
when
you poor guys.
you know what happened when we assume.
Yeah.
Do I need to
I have
elaborate?
a lot of bad
Yeah.
No, I have a lot of bad experience doing that, so I'm like super anal about like, can't quite get it. What do you mean?
I love that about you, Chris. I love that about you. That's what we need.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what else? Any other comments? Is there anything that anybody don't agree with? Okay, I think Mara or somebody was going to say something. Go ahead.
It's Victoria.
Okay, Victoria.
I think the put team goals before individual goals is a big one. That's definitely something that resonates with me because I've just, I'm so driven in my path that it's difficult for me to see all the other lanes sometimes, and really think about them, take a moment to think about them, to be more aware of that. So that's huge for me. Just trying to look at the broader spectrum from other people's perspectives, like your video showed. So that's a big one for me. I like that.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to add? The Bible talks about what love that a man would lay down his life for his friend. What love that a man would lay down his life for his friend. What's our life? Our life is what we do with the time we have on this earth. We all have our agenda, but when we set aside our agenda for a friend or a co-worker, that's showing teamwork and love. When we set aside our agenda, because this is important, I need to be here. And today you guys have set aside your schedules to be here on this team. Any other thoughts before we move on? Okay. Demonstrate trust and respect for all team members. All team members. And I imagine there are some people you may not like them, but you have that capability to learn to like them. We find what we look for. If we look for the good in people, we're going to find the good. If we look for the bad, we're going to find the bad. So let us make it a habit to look for the good. All of you have been together. You have a lot of good in you. I've done all your reports. You have a lot of good in all of you. Now you know more. So look, and now you can trust one another and respect one another. But for all, you're going to have your favorites. We all are human beings. We're going to have our favorites. But it cannot be that obvious when you're on a team. And it cannot be all the time. When you're together, you and your favorite, fine. But when you're together as a team, you're going to set that aside. So demonstrates trust in and respect for all team members. Any questions, comments? None? Okay. So what keeps us together? Think about, a team of horses, all thoroughbreds. What keeps that team of horses together from each one of them just going off in their own direction? What is it that keeps them together?
what's holding them together, the straps.
The straps. Yeah, what else?
The guys who are driving.
The drivers. Yeah, the drivers, you know, the leaders, keeping them together. So in a team atmosphere, what are the straps? On your team, what are the straps? What will keep you together?
I would say the systems and organizational rules and organizational norms and processes that we typically have that are designed to help us work within the framework and be successful.
Yep. What else? What will keep you together? What are some of the things, the ingredients that will keep you together? We're going to have systems. We're going to have guidelines.
Trust, mutual respect.
Trust. Thank you. What else?
Goals, like the same goals and
Common goals. Yeah. What else will keep you heading in the same direction together?
The right payment and incentive plans. Let's be honest.
Payment and incentive plans. But you all got to realize you are you've been around, the company has been around for like 3-4 years. It's a growing company. It's a growing company. And I hope you can look into the future and see the day when the big bucks will come. Just stick with it. Stick with it. What else? Well, Chris, as the COO, you have a big impact on the incentives.
A common vision. I mean, the common vision, a common approach to, a consistency to driving what people want. I know one of the things that kills teams is inconsistency. If you want to go left today and then tomorrow everyone's saying go right, and you're like, I just don't even care anymore. Just tell me what to do today and I'm not even going to worry about it.
Anything else that keeps the team together?
I think just knowing that we have each other's backs, all of us as a team is a big factor. That we are all on the same team and that we're, yes, going the same direction, but even more so just that we're all going to have each other's backs. And that if you know that, then, moving forward, you can start to develop the trust, or you can have the trust and you can be confident in your team and work better together.
Awesome. Have you ever noticed not the two horses in front, they never look back to see if the others are still there? They trust that the others are still there and they keep moving forward. Anything else?
If we're going by this picture, it's got to be the beer.
The who?
The beer. Isn't this the Budweiser train?
All right, Chris. Okay. They celebrate together. Yeah.
The celebration. That's right. The celebration of the good things.
Yeah. Celebrate together. The thing is, and then the love for one another. That platonic love, genuine love for one another will keep you together. Trust me, we all said it before. Anything else before we move on? Okay. Now think about the most important component of the building. Think about a pit crew. Any NASCAR fans here?
I've been to a race.
You've been to a race. You notice, if you look at the race, the driver, he comes into the pit. Does he get out of the car?
No.
No. Does he look to see if everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing? Does he check everybody to see what they're doing? He trusts everybody to that. They will check the tires, they will check the oil. He doesn't question anybody. And he's in and out. Similarly, think about in an operating room, the surgeon, he asks for an instrument and he puts his hands out like this. And he trusts the nurse or his assistant to put the right tool in his hand. Doesn't question. That's where we want to be, when we can trust one another without question, without doubt. And things happen faster. Things happen more efficiently. Productivity goes up. And you know what? Your customers will see that. And companies like to do business with successful companies. and you're already a successful company, you become more successful and you have more people talking about you. What do you want your customers to be saying about you, about the Cajas digital agency? What are some of the things you want them to be saying about you?
We
That's
deliver great results and great product, great services.
You deliver. That's a key word there, Chris. They deliver what they promise. They deliver their promise. Anything else you want them to say about you?
Reliable.
You're reliable. What else? We're getting somewhere. Yeah.
That we're responsive to their needs and faster than most other companies.
Thank you. Responsive, reliable, deliver. What else? Don't you want them to say you're nice people? It's nice doing business with you guys. How many times you call a company and you get the impression they don't want to talk to me, they don't care about me. And all it takes is for one person to create that impression and the whole team gets the blame. So we want people to want to do business with us, but they want to do business with all of us. So all of those are great things you want people to say about you. But people do business with people who they trust, who they like. Well, and to like you, you got to be likable. You got to be likable and be different. Any other thoughts? Comments? Nope.
No, you're on.
Okay.
I agree.
So, team, together, everyone achieves more. When we work together, we achieve more. Remember that. When we work together, everyone achieves more. And there are times when you might think, well, nobody's observing what I'm doing. Nobody's appreciating but you keep going. Think about a car. When you look at a car, what do you see? You see the outside, you see the color, you see the lines, you see the rims, how beautiful it is. But without that little fuse that's plugged into that fuse box, that car is not going anywhere. And some days we have to play that role. And some days other people play that role. Some days you are the beautiful car. Some days you are the rims. Just know your role. And whatever role it is you're playing on that day, play it well. That's what teamwork is all about. Knowing your role for that particular time and playing it well. So everything we know, when we look at the video, everything starts in our head, in our brain. So our beliefs would impact the judgments we make and the decisions we make. And then the judgments we make and the decisions we make would impact the actions we take or not take, which would impact the results we achieve or not achieve, which would validate what we believe in the first place. So it starts with you, every one of you, believing that we can be an awesome team. When every one of you believe that we can be an awesome team, now you're going to make judgments and decisions. Now you're going to take actions to maintain that belief, to practice that belief, and you will achieve the results. But if you're thinking, it's not going to work for this team, you're not going to be a team player, you're not going to take the necessary actions, we're not going to achieve the results we're looking for, and we validate what we believe in the first place. But when we believe that we here can be an awesome team, we're going to make the decisions, make the judgment calls, we're going to take the actions. And wow, look at the result. I want to see the results that you guys are going to be achieving in the future. You're not settling. And this is in your whole life, your beliefs subconsciously it starts, would impact the judgments you make or the decisions you make, which would impact the actions you take or not take, which would impact the results you achieve or not, which would validate what you believe in the first place. Any thoughts? Comments? Nope? Okay. So, Q&A, any questions?
Where are the challenges that we have as a team?
Huh?
You know, where do you see where do you see the weaknesses or the things that we should work on or improve, or things that we should be aware of so that we don't fall into any traps from your
Go back to your report. Go back to the components that I shared with you earlier about the teamwork, because you will know. You will know when you stop communicating openly, when you stop trusting one another, when you start questioning one another. Those are some of the challenges that you can, but go back to your report and look and focus on the relationship management section, because teamwork is relationship. Teamwork is relationship. That answer your question, Chris?
Kind of. I mean, I was hoping, I guess, for, you know, because you've seen all of our reports, and I mean, I haven't seen everybody else's other than mine, and I was just hoping after looking at all of those, maybe you had some insights that you could bring back to us, being able to see everything. And I guess that's what I was more hoping for. I mean, and yes, as a personal level, I understand, but as a team level, I was hoping that you had some insights from that perspective.
Well, what I'm going to propose because we can't do everything in 2 hours. What I was going to propose to Joseph is that we take a deeper dive in each one of the component and have like a 45 minute session on each one of the component on different times. So everybody don't have to be tied down for 2 hours. I got the impression that people were concerned about being away for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's hard. We're very busy. We've got a lot going on, and you know,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
most of us,
Yeah.
our emails are blowing up as we're sitting here. So
Yeah. So I understand that, and I'm going to propose to Joseph that, because learning is a continuous process. It's not an event. And by the end of this, we might forget most of what we shared today. But if we have a continuous process, the probability that we will remember and apply is much higher than if we just leave it hanging. But we are such creatures of habit. We go back to our way. Yeah. I don't see anything like blatant, cautionary, vulnerable on this team. Remember when I showed you the slide, you're a strong team. Your average scores on every one of the team building components are in the strong segment. So I don't see any cautionary or vulnerable, which is a good thing, but it's not something to take for granted.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, questions? So what's the one big thing you learned today? One thing. Well, you can share two if you got two or three, but what's the one thing you learned today?
I think for me, just based off of like you averaging out our scores and like talking about like our strengths and stuff, that we're all like individually very strong people. Like we're very like emotionally capable. I think it's just about like, based on everything else, just putting all our strengths together and like really utilizing each of us, and kind of understanding that like we're all strong in that sense, and to respect that, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, after seeing that, it's pretty amazing, but pretty much everyone here is an entrepreneur that just happens to be working in the same company at the same time, or, you know, they have their own company and something. And I mean, it's a pretty amazing group of people in terms of the capabilities and the self-direction that you don't typically see. So it's really neat. And working with all of you, it's been very evident, like, you know, how capable everybody is, which is so nice. So nice.
You see, now you have to take that wisdom and apply it to the Cajas Digital Agency. That's the mindset. That's the shift that we all have to make. Any other thoughts? What's the one big thing you learned?
We're a
You didn't
strong team.
A strong team.
I mean, we just talked about it, but it, you know, just like Myra said, with the numbers and solidification. And I also, I don't know if you're going to send this presentation to Joseph, but it would be cool to go back and look at, you know, whenever you outlined everybody's, you know, top strengths again. That would be cool.
Well, I'm recording it. I can send all of you the link to the recording if
Okay.
you like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No worries. Okay. Anybody else? What did you learn today? One thing or two things?
Sure, I'm unmuted there. There we go. I thought it was nice just to see the chart, kind of like what Carrie was just mentioning, but it seemed like everybody kind of fit the job roles, I guess, that were technically already assigned to pretty well. And that was neat. Like Joseph and Chris and Victoria and everybody that's worked on it has put everybody where they're supposed to. It was pretty solid that it lined up with the test results.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Anybody else? One thing you learned today? I think we heard from Mara, we heard from Carrie, Victoria, Chris.
I opened my mouth.
What else? Anybody else?
Come on, Victoria. Come on, Victoria.
Yeah, I liked the in the very beginning when you went over everybody's strengths and weaknesses and realizing that you know, nobody is perfect and we all have faults, we all have strengths, and to really just try to maximize those in each person to get the best that you can out of them and not focus on the negativity or negative concepts, and just use it as opportunities to grow for myself and then also in the team aspect as well. So I'm happy that we did this.
Good. Is that got everybody? Everybody learned something today? There's one more thing I want to add. When you need help, do not hesitate to ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. You know, I need help. Ask for help. And you got a bunch of people around you who are willing to help, who are full of empathy and willing to help. Ask for help rather than to pretend that you know it and then you mess up. And you're frustrated because you're such a team of integrity. Ask for help. So next steps, what do you think the next steps are?
Check a bunch of emails and then continue asking for help.
Yeah, the next step is application. Applying what we've learned today. And then, as I said, I'm going to propose to Joseph that we continue maybe once a month. We get together for 30, 40 minutes and look at some of the, take a deeper dive. We looked at teamwork and collaboration today. Maybe we look at the other components like communication, building trust, etc. once a month. So we have a continuity, continuous learning. Anything else? Okay, closing remarks. Any closing remarks?
I think we've all been talking during it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was good. I really enjoyed getting to know everyone a little bit better. It was fun to see that. And we have to have some talks about woodworking for those of us that like to
Let's
cutting wood.
Let's do it.
Cutting wood. Okay. And when I ask you your expectations, Victoria said communication, improvement, collaboration. There are some of the things that you, did you guys, were your expectations met? Or did I exceed your expectations? My goal is always to exceed your expectations.
I think we lost her.
Oh, was that you, Victoria? If you're...
I'm so sorry. Repeat the question.
No, were your expectations met?
Oh, of course. They were overly met, actually. And I feel like the results for myself are more than what I expected because, like you said, it puts it into perspective. Once you get results, even if you think you already know what those results are going to be, or if you already know that your strengths or whatever they are, it still gives it purpose when you see it in black and white, and then you can move forward. And just knowing that for me has been relaxing. Because I tend to be overly anxious about everything in the world all the time, like constantly. So it was nice. It's nice to be able to just, be in the moment and be okay with, who I am and where I'm at, and just aware of that. So it's been really it overshot my expectations.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody was disappointed? Okay. The key, in closing remarks, you're a team that's full of integrity. That's important. You're a team that's full of empathy. That's just as important. Organizational awareness, you're aware of what's going on around you. High communication team, interpersonal effectiveness, conflict management, building bonds, teamwork and collaboration, coaching and mentoring others, and building trust. Remember, you're a strong team. Make it stronger. Build strong. So, kind of finish this statement for me. Practice makes perfect. Yeah, that's what they've been teaching us since we were kids. Practice makes perfect. But if I'm practicing the wrong way of doing something, I will be doing it perfectly wrong. Like my golf game. But practice makes permanent. We become what we practice. We become what we practice. Just remember that. We are creatures of habit. We become what we practice. So, and we are all one in Christ. We are all one in Christ. Romans 12, 5 and 6. So in Christ, we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. Now you know your gifts. Now you know your strengths. Now you know the strengths of the other people on your team. Go build strong teams. That's it for me today. And thank you for joining me, and thank you for participating, sharing your ideas. And I look forward to seeing you again. You have my email. You have my phone number. Feel free to call or email at any time.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yes. And I will send you guys the spreadsheets. It will take a little while to download this, unless somebody has a brilliant idea on how to do a fast download. I haven't found that out yet. It takes forever, but it's worth it. Okay. Have a nice evening, and see you next time. In 5, 4, 3,
Peace
2.
be with you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.